The July 4th sale continues at Premier Heating and Air. Get a free programmable Wi-Fi thermostat with the purchase of any new heating and air conditioning system, with payments starting as low as $89 a month. Call Premier Heating and Air today at any of our convenient locations. This offer absolutely ends July 31st. And remember, less than perfect credit is no problem with Premier Heating and Air, a locally owned and operated company.
You're watching the Lighthouse Adult Daycare Center Alzheimer's Awareness Telethon on TV 35.
Hello everyone, we welcome into the studios today Jason Locke. You'll recognize him, been on many times, Jason. I see you have on your FCA shirt today. Thank you for wearing that. It gives us an opportunity to plug and brag on the job that FCA does in our community, thanks to you and Spence and Tanner on the east side and so many others that are growing through the area, I trust.
Yes, sir. Well, I appreciate you having me. Yeah, we're in 5 counties: Lawrence, Johnson, Dodge, Telfair, and Wheeler County. So Spence Lovett and I and Kevin Tanner, and then we have Clint Jones over in Dodge County that is full-time over in Dodge County as an area representative over there. So we're very thankful for what the Lord's doing through FCA. We just got back from at least a week of camp down at Georgia Southern at football and softball camp, high school team. So we've had a busy summer.
Yeah, a lot of opportunity to love on young people.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, share the gospel with them. It is great, and you know, school's starting back. You're gonna have, I guess you call them huddles or your groups.
That's right. That's
you
right.
know, so ladies and gentlemen, you go ahead and talk to your young people about that and encourage them. But today we've got a real special subject. All this month we've been looking at the issue of Alzheimer's, of dementia in people's lives, and we brought you many different programs, and so we asked Jason to come in. His father, Silas, right?
That's right.
Yeah, was affected by that, and your family. And no matter if it's a large family, if it's a small family, if it's one person trying, it's always difficult, isn't it, Jason?
It is. It's tough to watch someone go through dementia and Alzheimer's, and my dad. Of course, I'm the youngest of 8 kids, and my dad was a mechanic by trade, and he was. Like I said, I'm the youngest of the 8, and anytime we needed something fixed, we went to him and he could fix it.
Yeah.
And it was tough. That was one of the toughest things to watch, is when you begin to see that he wasn't able to do a lot of the things that he did before. And the tough part about that is watching him, that he realized that he wasn't able to do what he did before. And he was very, very talented and very industrious. He fixed anything we had, kept all the vehicles rolling and all that stuff. And to watch him go through that, and you know, seeing him realize that, hey, something's not working exactly right. So yeah, it's a tough, awful disease to watch anyone go through, and it takes, you know, you have to have a lot of patience, and to watch someone go through that is really tough.
Yeah, Jason, you talk about your dad, you know, could fix anything. I mean, you just knew, you take it to Dad, he's got it. That's right. And then all of a sudden things start changing like that. I can see that how heavy that would be. About how old were you when y'all first learned that your father had some type of dementia?
So my dad passed away in 2016. So probably about, I don't say it was 2 or 3 years before that, we started to notice, and it was a strange. And I said, it's just an awful disease to watch anyone go through. And there were some days that at the beginning he would be fine, and then the next day it was hit or miss in the beginning, and it was like, you almost, sometimes I feel bad to say, you almost, my brothers and I would talk about it, it's like, is he acting? but he wasn't.
Right, right.
But because he'd have one day that was good, and then the next day he would totally be different sometimes. One of the toughest parts too was, and with anyone, especially a male that's raised 8 kids, provided for his family, one of the toughest things I remember was having to take his keys from him. So, you know, and just that independence is, you know, that he was losing, and so yeah, it was probably, I think, 2 to 3 years that, you know, before that it started gradually progressing.
Yeah.
And it got more aggressive as time went on.
Yeah. And how long did he live once he was diagnosed with the illness? How long did he live?
He passed away in 2016.
16, so
probably 2
wow.
to 3 years.
Okay.
After
okay.
that is what
I got
what
you.
I remember,
It just progressively got worse.
Mm-hmm.
And as a family, I mean, you got 7 siblings, and 8 of y'all, and your mom, and then, you know, I'm sure the other family around, and Dudley and friends. But how did y'all handle that as a family?
So, again, just a lot of patience.
Yeah.
You know, it takes a lot of patience to not get upset, and him to see you upset about it. It just takes a lot of patience to realize that, again, like I said in the beginning, you'd have days where you thought he was fine.
Sure.
Then days where it's like, Dad, what's
Yeah.
going on? Why
Yeah.
are you, you know, and
Yeah.
it just takes a lot of patience.
So
and
it's
and a
hard
lot
to
of
figure it out
understanding.
to start out
That's
with,
right.
huh?
That's right.
Yeah.
It takes an awful lot of patience to deal with
What are
that.
some things you learned, or you maybe could tell someone that may be facing it, or if it happens in their family? What are some key things maybe you could lock in on to determine? You know, I guess you got to get them to a doctor.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, so my dad spent the last year of his life over at Dublin Air Nursing Home, and they took great care of him. But yeah, I don't know exactly how that's diagnosed. You know, you start to notice different things. You know, he started doing things out of the ordinary, just, and particularly the driving part of it. He would do things that he typically wouldn't do.
Yeah.
And he, in the beginning, he would be very angry,
Mm-hmm.
you know, because he
Sure,
realized
frustrated.
that he couldn't do what he used to do. So man, we learned a lot of patience. I know I've said patience
Yeah.
a lot of
Well,
times,
that's the key.
but God gives us patience, and you just have to be patient and love them where they are.
Yeah.
You know, and just understand, you know, that he's probably scared, you know, not realizing what's going on
Yeah.
a lot of times.
Yeah. Talking to Jason Locke. We'll take a short break. We'll be right back. Do you want to feel and look healthier, younger, and full of vitality and energy? Med Spa is your solution for treatments, including skin, waxing, brow and lashes, Botox, fillers, body sculpting, and laser treatment, including hair removal, the fastest and least painful anywhere. Come visit us at Med Spa and book your massages by calling Med Spa today at 275-8346 or visit us at 2400 Bellevue Road, Suite 11 in Dublin. The July 4th sale continues at Premier Heating and Air. Get a free programmable Wi-Fi thermostat with the purchase of any new heating and air conditioning system, with payments starting as low as $89 a month. Call Premier Heating and Air today at any of our convenient locations. This offer absolutely ends July 31st. And remember, less than perfect credit is no problem with Premier Heating and Air, a locally owned and operated company.
Trying to beat the heat? Come check out our cool deals at Roach Farm and Garden. For your gardening around the house, Roach Farm and Garden has planters, soils, plants, vegetable and grass seed. Don't forget, it's time to fertilize your yard and pond. Let Roach Farm and Garden help. Got something to feed? ADM, Godfrey, FRM, and Cargill. Roach Farm and Garden has a huge supply of pet and livestock feed. Getting bugged in your own backyard? Flies, fleas, mosquitoes, Roach Farm and Garden has 1 gallon to 110 gallon sprayers. Too hot and you wanting to cool off? Roach Farm and Garden has barrel and pedestal fans, not to mention stock tanks up to 1,000 gallons. While you're shopping, check out our wind chimes, benches, gliders, and chairs. We even got fryers, grills, and griddles, and always carry a full line of Carhartt and Wrangler wear. Before you check out, grab some of our seasonings and sauces, local honey, jams, jellies, and pickles. Looking for concrete benches, statues, and fountains? Roach Farm and Garden has a huge supply and more arriving every day. Roach Manufacturing opened in 1929 as a cotton gin, a third-generation family business, started by William Patrick Roach and Miss Louise Beecham Roach, which now has become Roach Farm and Garden. Since 1929, from Roach Manufacturing to Roach Farm and Garden, third-generation family business here in Dublin and Wrightsville. Come see us.
So Jason, you look at not only the issue with your dad, and you got to worry about your mom, I'm sure. That was probably a tough time for her.
Sure. You know, again, I'm sure that was extremely tough. They were married over 50 years. So, you know, and again, raised 8 kids and having to care for him. And so, yeah, I'm sure it was tougher than I even realized.
Yeah. And which 5 sisters you probably had, you all probably rotated trying to help your mom out some.
That's right. Now one of my brothers lived there with my mom and dad and took great care of them. With that, my sister lives next door, and so all of us come together. I'm blessed to be, like I said, the youngest of 8, and we're a close family, and you know, and love each other very much. And you know, my mom still alive now and taking care of her, and she's still taking care of us.
Yeah.
So
I'm sure.
yeah, it's
yeah, that's special. People take for granted a lot of times family, you know, but I see your family, the Locke family, really not doing that. You instill it in everybody, right down to your children, because it is so important. You have family, you count on family, no matter what. And I'm sure during that time, y'all had some tough talks with each other.
Yes, sir. There were some tough times. Again, Dad was at Dublin Air Nursing Home, and I'll share, you know, even when I ride by there today, I look sometimes and I see his room over there and remember him being there. And I'll say this about Dublin Air Nursing Home, they took great care of him. And I remember in his last couple of days, we were contemplating on taking him home or leaving him there. And I'll say this, even with that disease, you know, in 2 Corinthians, I believe Paul says, you know, our bodies we're deteriorating, but our spirit is being renewed. And so I could see that even in my dad there, because in his last couple of days, we had a time there. We knew he was about to pass, and we were able to go, and we were all surrounding my sisters, and they were singing hymns around him. But what I remember about Dublin Air and about my dad was the workers that were there at Dublin Air. They wanted us to stay there for his last day. And because that spirit, even though as sick as he was, and I know it's true, that spirit was still being renewed, and he loved those folks there, even as sick as he was, and the dementia and Alzheimer's that he was dealing with. I know that spirit lived in and through him to those people there. So they loved on him to his last breath there at Dublin Air, and you know, and I'm sure that would happen at a lot of nursing homes. Sure. That just happens to be where he was at. Sure. So what I'm saying is, even though his body and his mind was deteriorating, that spirit was still living in and through him, and touching people around him. So it was a special time there that we were able to just love on him and realize that those folks loved him, and they loved him because he loved them too. So they took great care of him, and you know, seeing that was really, really awesome. Yeah,
it sounds like it, man. How special is that? Come together at that moment. Now, your dad, you know, lifelong member of I guess Dudley Baptist, but right there in the community, and you know, just everybody knew him.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've been at Dudley Baptist since I was 5, and my dad was a member over at Central Drive Baptist Church, and my mom and I were. I took her one day a few months ago to senior citizens from church. We're going over to the seafood, East Dublin Seafood for lunch one day, and my mom and I stopped there at Central Drive Baptist Church, and Dad's name's on the cornerstone there at Central Drive because he helped build that church, and it was really neat to be able to stop in there. So yeah, we've been at Dudley since I was 5, but my family were members at Central Drive for several years prior to moving there. My oldest sister moved to Dudley, and we've been in Dudley all of our lives, but I've been there most of my life, or all my life, and been there since I was 5. So yeah, he was very involved in church there, and of course when we went to Dudley as well. So
Yeah, great story.
Yeah.
You know, he helped erect that church, sounds like, you know, build it, just a servant of the Lord. That has to give you peace.
Yes. Again, that spirit that lives inside of us. If we have Jesus Christ in our heart, that spirit lives in and through us, and what a great example he was to all of us. You know, to have that example that he lived out in front of us was very special.
Hey, do you remember growing up any, Jason, maybe some real, you know, things that he taught you, instilled in you, things he always said to you, or certain things that just resonate with you?
I'll tell this story. I actually was already grown in my own eyes. I had just gotten married, and I didn't have a lawnmower at home, and I tell this story sometimes, and it was a real picture of what my dad was. I didn't have a lawnmower at my house, and so I was borrowing his lawnmower, and I went and loaded it up on the trailer, and he told me exactly how to strap it down, but I didn't hear that part. So I got about halfway from his house to Dudley, and all of a sudden that lawnmower's passing my truck because it had fell off the trailer and went past my truck, went over and crushed it in the ditch over there. And I was oh no, Dad's gonna kill me.
Yeah.
And like I said, I was grown at that time, and got it loaded back up on the trailer, took it back to my mom and dad's house, and he says he wasn't at home, but I waited on him to get home, and he walks in. He wasn't mad at me. He just said, "Are you all right?" You know, and so, you know, he didn't get mad at me about that I didn't listen to him when he told me exactly how to strap it down. But what an example, you know, of how God loves us. You know, he just was concerned about my safety. And I'll tell you what about the lawnmower, he was cutting grass on it the next day. So I thought
was good to see, I'm sure.
So he fixed it and got it going and was cutting his grass the next day. So yeah, it's you know, just the way you knew he loved us. And there's a lot of stories. You know, I remember my dad and Mr. John Chappell going up to South Carolina during right after Hurricane Hugo. Dudley Baptist went on a mission trip up to Hurricane Hugo right outside of Charleston. Hurricane Hugo hit, and the church went on a mission trip up there. My dad and Mr. John Chappell, Mr. John owned a portable sawmill, and Dad and Mr. John got the idea while they were, I think Dad went with them and came back, and Mr. John, he knew Mr. John had a sawmill, so they went back up there for several weeks with that portable sawmill to a little community. The name of it's McClellanville, South Carolina. They went up there and spent several weeks just set that sawmill up, and were able to saw those trees that had fell, and they used that lumber to temporarily use those to build boats up there while those folks were without there. It was devastation up there. I went up there and helped a time or two with them, and they spent weeks up there, you know, helping that community get back on their feet. There was an article in them in Guideposts about them that talks about that. So yeah, just the example that he gave of that sacrificial giving. And, you know, he didn't want anything in return. He didn't ask for anything in return. He just enjoyed helping people.
Yeah.
And he did that throughout his life. He would help people. He'd stop on the side of the road and help someone that was in need.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
So yeah, he was a great example for all of us.
Yeah. You know, you see that a lot of times a young Christian will start out, you know, when you're working through the process, you know, when and life hits you, you know, and you struggle, and man, when you kind of get on the other side of at least a little bit of life, you see that in strong Christians, that patience and that peace about them, and just to know that life's going to happen.
That's right. That's right. So, and it's a growth process.
Yeah.
As we're walking with Jesus through that growth process, we begin to grow as we walk with Him.
Yeah, yeah. We'll take another short break. We'll be right back. You stay with us.
Daniels Taylor Law would like to congratulate attorney Trey Taylor on the appointment to the Superior Court Judge in the Dublin Judicial Circuit. Congratulations, Trey, and we would like to invite you to continue to call on Daniels Taylor Law at 1006 Bellevue Avenue, or call us at 478-227-7331. Daniels Taylor Law, Dublin.
It's that time of year, time to fire up the grill, relax, and have some fun. Whether you're a grill master or a wannabe, the Big Green Egg will change the way you think about cooking. Georgia Pools has a large selection from which to choose. They carry a wide variety of accessories too, from charcoal, starters, to grilling tools, seasonings, and sauces. Get your own Big Green Egg cooking system for as low as $58.83 per month. And while you're waiting on that perfect steak to cook, relax in your very own Pawleys Island hammock. What better way to spend the summer days ahead? When you're thinking of grilling and chilling, think Georgia Pools, located at 1201 Hillcrest Parkway in Dublin. Call Georgia Pools at 275-3607. Here at Little House Self Storage, we pride ourselves in offering exceptional value through affordable, clean units in a variety of sizes at the best location in town. We pride ourselves on offering exceptional value for the low rates we charge. State-of-the-art security system, plentiful lighting, and slow speed limits all speak to our mission of keeping you and your belongings safe. Our friendly staff is happy to welcome you at our on-site office during business hours, and you'll have access to the gated community 24 hours a day. When it comes to superior storage solutions, make Little House Self Storage your first choice. Stop by 1854 Marion Street or call us at 478-272-6892. Little House Self Storage also at 2420 US Highway 80 West. Call 478-275-8092. Little House Self Storage, superior storage solutions.
MedFirst is committed to service and quality care. Located on Hillcrest Parkway near Fairview Park Hospital, we're built on the philosophy of continually providing new and effective services to meet the healthcare needs of the communities we serve. We have a complete inventory of all the latest in-home medical equipment and appliances. Also, the latest technology in seat lift chairs is displayed in one of the largest medical showrooms anywhere. MedFirst has become a leader in sleep therapy services in the Middle Georgia area, as well as home respiratory services. We have staff on call to help you at any time, day or night. So call us today at 478-274-1900 or come by and see us at 1204 Hillcrest Parkway.
All right, back with you, and you know, again, we're pointing out the Lighthouse Adult Daycare for Alzheimer's on Bellevue there, a nonprofit, seeks fundraising, and we try to help them out every year we can, and here we are again this year working through the process, and thanks to those who've given. If you want to stop by the Lighthouse, they do look for volunteers if you can help, but not everybody has 8 children and a healthy mom in the family, and you know, people need a break. They need an opportunity to go to a doctor's appointment, to go to the grocery store, to take a minute for sanity. I'm sure your mom sometimes just had to step aside and just try to, gather herself a little bit, because it is such a responsibility to take care of someone. They get dementia, they really don't know. They're not who they were. That's right. Not the same person, but you have to take care of them. And I'm just imagining, I know it to be true from what I know of your family, from what I hear about your mom, that she would have it no other way but to take care of him.
That's right. That's what she did. She took care of him, took care of all of us, and again, still does.
Yeah.
She loves to see the grandkids coming. We were talking just the other day, I think, with, she's got 8 kids. I think, I'm trying to think of the number that they gave me. My sister was telling me the other day how many grandchildren and how many great grandchildren. And I think as a matter of fact, she just had a new great grandson last week. My niece had a little boy last week, and so I think it's up above 20 great grandchildren that my mom has now, and certainly more than 20 grandchildren. So yeah, she loves taking care of them and doing anything she can for them and all of us.
Yeah. And not everyone, has that ability to have help. So we want to let you know about the Lighthouse Adult Daycare, and you do what you can, ladies and gentlemen. We're certainly trying to do what we can here at TV 35. We appreciate you coming in, Jason, and sharing a very sensitive subject. You talk about when you ride by, Dublin Air, and you look over at that same room, or I'm sure you pass by many things, and it triggers that thought of your dad. And
That's right.
It's not a memory or a passion, a love that just goes away here on earth. You still love that, and you still miss them just as greatly, don't you?
Yes, sir. You always miss them, but knowing that they're with our Father in heaven and the life he lived, and again that spirit that lived through him, that's the comfort that God gives us, knowing that he's with them.
Yeah, and you'll see him on the other side.
That's right.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us here. We
Thank you.
appreciate you. Yeah. Thank you for joining us right here on TV 35.
Hello, I'm Joy Shepherd. I'm the administrator of Dublin Health and Rehab. I've been here for about 6 months.
Hey, I'm Dot Bailey. I'm Activity Director for Dublin Air Nursing and Rehab. I've been here for a short time, but I'd just like to say we have a super great activity department. If you'd like to volunteer, we have several churches in our community that help us out a lot. And if you'd like to be a part of that, please come out and give us a call or come out and visit, and we'd be glad for you to participate in activities.
My name's Laura Mullis. I've been with Dublin Air for 10 years. I work with Dr. Dennis Taylor. We manage our patients together here at Dublin Air. We do admissions for skilled care, and we do chronic care management for our long-term residents. He's been a medical director here for a long time, and we're in the facility at least 3 to 5 days a week for clinical management for acute illness and chronic illness and any problems that they have here. His mother, Dr. Taylor's mother, also was here, and my father-in-law is now here too. It's a facility that is a family, not only with work, but also with taking care of our loved ones. If you have any questions, you could always give us a call at Dublin Air.
Hi, my name is Linda Bailey, and I work here at Dublin Air Healthcare and Rehab, and I work in the social service department, and I have been an employee here for the past 5 years. I would like to take this opportunity to invite you to come and take a tour of our facility if you are seeking placement for yourself or a family member. We have an excellent therapy department as well as excellent doctors and nursing staff. If you are interested in taking a tour, you do not have to have an appointment. Just feel free to stop by, and we have staff that are readily available to assist you.